You know what I mean? And then you can add your video like this. Don't make it too small. I would actually make it bigger and more wide. But you know what I mean? You can make like a what that is. I'm too sick to know. All right. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that could solve your problem with the ratio not being correct. Okay, let's go back and do some more footage. Um, now, when you're looking at your footage, we have what is called a safe margins. Okay, it's this icon right here. And we also have our safe margins here. With our safe margins, does anyone know what safe margins are used for? What are these used for? Okay, back when they had old school TVs, before flat screens, what were they on the edges? You know, they were curved on the edges. They weren't always flat screens. So sometimes, if words were on the edges, those words would get wrapped around. It would be hard to read and hear, or even cut off. So that's why they established the safe screen. And since then, they've always had that. So as a rule, just like I said with your CD designs, you shouldn't have important information on these sides, just in case it gets cut off. Okay? So that's something that you should be turning on and keeping in mind when you're doing that for your video. Okay? So let's go ahead and get a longer clip, and we'll drag that and insert that in here. Okay, so I just inserted a clip. Now I'm going to take my video clip, and let's say I took too much. Okay, notice I have my video clip and it's really long, right? Let's say it's too much. All you have to do is go to the edge of it, and then you can cut it in. Okay? Now, don't panic because it didn't crop it. This is not cropping. This is basically just adjusting the clip so it plays less. Because if I want it back, I can like pull it out even further and I still have more of the clip. It's not a copy of the clip, it's just more time of the clip.
Wait, so Mr. Hassan, he goes slower?
Sorry, not more time, but more. Yeah. So notice that. See, it's the same. It's just more of it. And if I take it off, notice it's gone that part.
Oh, I see.
And if I want it back, I can just extend it out, and boom, he's back. So this is a really awesome tool that you can use for iMovie in using that. Let's get another one. Here's my pinwheel of death. It's gonna kill me. All right, let's say I inserted in another one. Now, remember, like I said, when I check your music videos, I really look at your editing and how well you edited your video clips. So let's say you cut it too close. Okay, let's say it was off on the edit, on the cut, and you wanted more or less of something. Now the long way of doing that is to like adjust it out this way and then to adjust it out this way, right? So now we have more of this clip. Instead of doing that, we can do what on the right side, we can do what is called a rolling edit tool. Okay, just hit N on the keyboard. Okay, N on the keyboard. And so now, when we do the cut, it'll roll it. So notice it automatically adjusts the video clip accordingly. So now we have less of this one and more of that one, and vice versa. Okay? So this can really help when you're doing those edits. And again, that's a rolling edit. We can also do a slide edit. Okay? And that's if you hit the U. Hit the U on the keyboard. And if you do this one, notice that the whole thing moves, but it still stays the same, like in terms of the cut. But you're just moving the amount of time that it took. Okay, so it's a slide edit. Any questions on that part? Sorry. So as you can see, like using Premiere is very valuable in getting precise edits. Let's go ahead and do some audio. Now, I'm not going to use the audio here. I'm going to actually take the audio out by clicking this audio icon. And then I'm going to go back to my audio here, Mr. Potato in my bin. I'm going to double click that. So now I can see my audio. Now I'm going to take the whole thing. So I'm going to hit my I, go to the end. And O for out. Now, I'm also going to preview this, and I'm going to try to get the know of when the beats are going to happen. I'm going to try to listen for different beats and when I'm going to like, you kind of want to plan ahead because you have these markers. You can set number markers here. The shortcut key is the asterisk key. So right here you can set like little markers where you want certain things. So let's say, like this shaking part.
Chip, 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 chip. Chip, 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 chip.
You know what I mean? I can move my markers so that I can know, okay, this is my chorus. Chip, 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 chip. Okay? Between those markers is my chorus. So that's going to help me in my edits so I don't have to preview it all the time. I can know exactly when to go. For your markers, you do have a marker tab up here. And you can set your markers for your in and out and unnumbered and so on. So you do have a lot of options. And then if you want to preview, if you click on this, go to the next marker, it'll go to the next marker point and tell you the exact time of it. Okay? So when I drag my audio into audio 2, and again, you want to drag this icon and then put it right there. Hold on. Oh, throat is killing. So notice that my markers are still there. So it's very helpful to know for editing. So you saw how I dragged the clip. I wanted to show you one thing really quick too. When you drag in video clips, let's see. Notice this clip right here. Like it automatically, magnetically tries to like snap. It's called snap to grid or snap to frame. And it automatically clips right there to it. So if you want to take that off, you can click on this snap tool. And it's like a magnetic snap to make sure that it's flush against the other part of it. Okay, so we have our clips. Now if you notice, our clips are, you see this red line? This red line means that it's not rendered. The video is not rendered. What that means is what you're seeing is just a really rough, not exported out, basically. Like it's a really rough edit or a rough depiction of the video. If you wanted to see more of a clean cut with all your transitions and audio and how it would be if you exported it out, you would choose what you want to export. Sorry, not export, but render. And you can do that by, see this little clear looking part here. You decide where you want this to render and you hit enter. And now it'll render only this part if you only want to see, okay, like I want to see how the first 5 seconds look. That's what you would do. And it kind of takes a little bit long. So only do it if you really need to see certain finalized video.
Can you undo it once you rendered it?
Yeah, you can just say cancel if you don't want to render it. But rendering it just means it's like it's improving the video quality and your transitions and meshing everything together so it looks better. Sometimes you can't even preview it unless you render. Now notice I have all this empty space on the right. You want to make sure you zoom in. On the bottom, there's these mountains. You can like move the mountains up or down. Bad what? Oh, yeah, it's pretty bad. Bad lag. You can also zoom using the plus key. Notice how it's getting bigger. If I want to go smaller, you just hit the backslash, which is above the return key, and it goes back. Okay? When we were talking about our placements of our clips, one important thing that you need to do is crop. If you hit the C, or all the way to the right, there's a toolbar and there's a little razor, and then with this you can basically cut and crop different parts of a video. And then V is like the move tool if you wanted to move it around that part. So this makes cutting and cropping really easy with that tool. Something else with this timeline that's important is on the left side, if you want to view, see in the top right there's a preview of it. If you take off the I, that preview goes away. So that's one thing to look at. You can also set the display style. You can do head and tail only, so that only the preview of the beginning and end. I think what's best is the frames, because then it shows all the frames of your video, and so you can know exactly like where it is on your frame. So I would keep that. If you don't like visuals, you can take them off, but that's up to you. You can hide the keyframes if you want, but I like to show the keyframes at the top here. And so, and again, you can lock it down if you don't want it to be edited. So if you see those little lines, that means it's locked down. Okay, and of course that's video 1, and you can choose to minimize or maximize that if you have like a lot of videos together. Now, one thing I wanted to show you is on your video, you can easily move the video. If you've imported your video and it's really big, instead of fit, just take it down to like 50%, and then you can adjust it a little bit easier if it's already like really big. Okay, so just adjust that right here. Also, when you scrub through your video, notice I can do it with my mouse. You can also do it more miniaturized or more detailed by using this little the middle button on your mouse to scroll through. Just make sure the pointer is over here, and notice that the seconds are really exact, so you can get exactly what you want. Otherwise you can scrub through it a little bit faster. So that's really important to do. Another thing with audio, notice we have our MP3 track right here. So if you've imported your audio and it doesn't sound exactly the way you want it to, you can adjust your audio with audio effects, and that's right in here. So there's a lot of different audio effects you can do, like bass if you need to have more of a booming voice. You can do delayed, fill left, fill right. So let's say we do put in more bass. You have to click and drag that right onto your clip, and see, notice that green underline, that just means that it was added. And then if you go into your audio, you can mix your tracks even more along with the effects. Now those are bass, and now just by throwing in the bass on that clip doesn't mean it's actually being used. You actually have to like increase the bass by scrubbing that through. Start the bass here, and then by the time it's ended, it's gonna go up in bass. Okay, so notice if I scrub it through, it starts at 4.8, and then it goes up in bass all the way through. So the stopwatch is a way to like gradually have an effect do something that you want.